Hi guys, it's Valarie from Heavenly Legends Art in Flagstaff, Arizona. I wanted to make a quick video and let you guys know who I am as a pyrography artist and my background, and a quick review of the three machines that I use: the Nibs Burner, the Burnmaster, and the RAZORTIP. I found wood burning back in 2005 walking through Michael's. I ended up in the wood aisle and saw an example of wood burning but had no idea what it was. I went ahead and bought the Walnut Hollow wood burning tool. This one was their cheapest one with no way to adjust the heat. I had no idea how hot that pen was going to get. And after a couple of burnings with that one, I decided to go ahead and make an investment into the Nibs Burner. I've had this one since 2006, and I've only recently, back in February and March of this year, purchased the Burnmaster Eagle and the RAZORTIP. So with the Nibs Burner, we'll go ahead and go into my likes and dislikes about each one of the machines. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the updated price that I could find on the internet. I'm going to insert iCards so that you can click and go to their website to learn more about each one of them. All of this is my personal opinion. I'm not being paid for it. And here we go. So with the Nibs Burner, this is the best they show. This is their top model. This one comes in, for the whole set, it comes in at $205.95. It comes with the base, 2 pins, 2 cords, 2 tips, the 2 holders you see on the top, and it has what I like about it, what I really like about it, are the dual control knobs. I can have 2 pins in, I can get them adjusted to exactly where I want them, and easily switch between the two without having to stop, check my temperature, and adjusting. I can quickly just switch back and forth. It heats up quickly. It has quick heat recovery. It comes with 3 cord sizes. It comes with a standard, which is the 16 gauge. 16 gauge. It comes with a light duty, which I don't know the gauge on that one. I believe that one is 20 or 22. And the heavy duty, which is what I use, that's what these are right here, the heavy duty, and those are at 14 gauge. The pins are extremely comfortable. They're easy to grip. They don't heat up for me. For me, I use the fixed tip, fixed cord, meaning my tip is attached and I can't take it out. And my cord is attached, so I can't switch it out for another one. But in doing a one full piece unit like this, it heats up more evenly, and it maintains the heat without burning my hand. Let's see here. They actually had closed, the previous owner of Nibs Burner had retired and sold the company, and Nibs Burner has been purchased and is back up and running. They're in the process of redoing their stock. They do have a pin available, in fact the whole unit available, but what you're going to get is not exactly what I have, because they are, as I was told, is kind of a hybrid of the old pieces and the new pieces. It's kind of in the middle, and as soon as they are done with the old stock, they are redesigning the pin. Though it's going to stay similar, it will change a little bit. Let's see here. I like the metal base. It's very sturdy. I've taken it on airplanes and traveled around with it in my suitcase with no problems whatsoever. And it has high power. This one comes in at 3 volts. It claims 145 watts. Now what I don't like is there's no outer low-end heat adjustment. You actually have to take the lid off the base and mess with the dials. It can be a pain. I've had to do it. With the new owner, they currently only have 5 pins available, and those are their 5 most popular ones. So some of the tips that I have you can no longer get at this time. They may be expanding that in the future. I also don't like the plastic stands because they're only attached by a thick tape, and these are my second set of stands. I actually tend to use my soldering iron holder to hold my pen when I have just switched it off to ensure I don't heat anything up. I had, with my original stands, they did have a problem with the tape heating up and kind of melting and no longer sticking, so I switched to this to ensure that I wouldn't burn the house down. And at this point it also appears that they don't have the fixed tip, fixed cord like I've shown you here. Whether they'll be doing that in the future, I'm not exactly sure. It has a switch between, a toggle switch between the left and the right, and each one of the dials has its own light so that you know which one is running at which time, and one off and on switch. This is the Burnmaster Eagle. This one is, as a set, is $259.95. This one comes with 2 pins, 10 tips, 2 cords, 2 adapters, 1 screwdriver, and 1 bag. So everything comes with it. It's made in the US, and it comes in at rated at 3 volts. They list 130 watts. For my likes on this one, I like the high power, same as the Nibs Burner. It's easy to switch between the pins. The pins for this in general don't heat up, they do warm up, even with their own tips. The travel bag it comes with is extremely strong and can be used as storage as well. There's 13 tips available, and with 10 coming with this, you're already getting most of the pins. It comes with 2 adapters so that you can hook up pins from Nibs Burner, Colwood, and RAZORTIP. It has a low end heat adjustment hole that sits, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, it sits between the 2 and the 4, and you can dial in the low end heat if it's still burning too hot for whatever you're working on. The tips heat up quickly. The metal stands, I really like those. They hold them securely. I don't have to worry about them falling. There's only 2 Burnmaster models, and those come with and without tips. The price range for this is $143.95 to $259.95. So they do have a smaller set if that's what you're needing. They also have a European voltage set. Same exact machine that comes in the European voltage needed for overseas, and that runs between $187.95 and $325.95. Now, what I don't like about the machine is that it only has 1 dial. I know that sounds, you know, kind of ridiculous, but for me, having those 2 dials is a big deal. I can switch so fast. Also, the pins are extremely large in comparison. They do cause my hand fatigue, and like I said, they do warm up. Not too bad, but they do warm up. I don't like the fact that the tips, because these are all interchangeable. There is no fixed cord, fixed tips with these. I know some people prefer it, but I do not like the screws holding in the tips. To me, it takes longer to switch out the pins, tips, and I don't care for the screws. Now, when you use their metal adapters, their gold adapters, to hook up another pin, the metal adapter gets hot. It really does, especially if you're using a RAZORTIP pen with it, because there's two different voltages for between the two machines, and the metal heats up extremely hot. You can burn yourself on it. And this pen, though they advertise it that you can use the RAZORTIP tips with them, you can. Unfortunately, in doing so, it really heats up, and I honestly couldn't burn more than 15-20 minutes at a time, and I was afraid I was going to melt the tip. And that's because the tips for RAZORTIP are thinner wire. Both Nibs Burner and the Burnmaster use, I believe it's 18 gauge wire, and for the thinner ones they go up to 20. And so because there's one more volt coming out of this machine than what the RAZORTIP is, it really heats up. And I honestly had to buy the RAZORTIP base because I thought I was going to burn out my pens that I had purchased, because it said that this was compatible with the RAZORTIP. That's why I have the third machine. It was so I wasn't wasting these pens. I do like that they have a set of 3 ball tips, and they have 3 different sizes. The ball tips are really good. They burn nice and smooth. They are the 3 other tips that do not come with this set. So if you want all the tips, there's 13. You're already getting 10 of them. So it is a deal. Now over here I have the RAZORTIP SSD10. This is their top of the line 2-pin model. They have very comfortable pins. They have a large amount of tips. In fact, their website says that they have 860 tips and configurations between the fixed tip and the interchangeable. It does have a low-end heat adjustment hole. Again, that is right there at the top, and this allows you to adjust your low-end heat. I have not adjusted either one of my machines, and to be honest, I'm a little worried that I wouldn't be able to get back to my original settings. I do wish that all 3 of those machines would come out with an actual dial, small dial, that you turn so that you can go back to your normal settings once you're done. For this set, it comes with 1 base, 1 interchangeable tip pin, 1 heavy cord, and that comes in at, for that set, comes in at $202.50. It's rated and listed as 2 volts at 45 watts. And this is, as you can see, made in Canada. They have 18 different sets, from where it's 1 pin in the base only to the base with 4 pins, which comes with 2 changeable and 2 fixed, and that is the $342.50 on the higher end. It does heat up quickly, except for when you use this shader tip, and this is the larger of the 2, and the large ball tip, and there's even bigger ball tips, but it takes a while to heat up in this game of how quickly the machines heat up. It's really not that long, but it does take a while, and depending on what you're running on, you may actually have to have your dial up higher than you normally do in order to burn. I don't normally even burn on 6, but because I was burning on watercolor paper, I had to up it. It doesn't burn to me as hot, but it is a lower voltage. What I don't like is, again, I do not like the screws to secure the tips. I don't like having to mess and go dig for a screwdriver to switch out my tips. And also because their tips are smaller, it is a little harder to line it up and within the grooves. It's not that you're unable to. It just, like I said, it's time consuming, especially if I'm on a deadline and time is of the essence. The pins do work with other bases, but again, the pins heat up hot, and because you're going from 2-volt base with the RAZORTIP to the other two bases at 3 volts, you can burn out your pin. It's a very good possibility, especially if you burn hotter. I don't like these plastic clips. They are the tension to hold the pins. If I barely bump them, they drop the pin. I do not like the plastic clips. Again, it's only got one heat dial. I like my two dials. These pins, though they are comfortable to hold, the foam is extremely comfortable, they do heat up. They have vents right here, and these do heat up. It does let the heat out on your hand, so you have to be careful with that. On the shipping, if you buy directly from the company, it comes from Canada and if you're shipping to the US, it has to go through customs, and it takes between 12 and 15 days to arrive, at least in northern Arizona from Canada. If it's something you want in a hurry, I would suggest you find one of the distributors here in the US. I know that there are several. Okay, so for the tip price for each one of them, the RAZORTIP start at $6 for their standard, and that's the average. That's not necessarily the price for each one on the website. That's just the average I saw when I was clicking around. The heavy duty start at $6.25, and their fixed tip pins, you can have those made by them with your preferred tip, is starting at $28.50. Now on the Burnmaster, if you have to replace a tip, they are running at $8.95 a piece. But the ball tips, they have 3 of them. Those are $14.95 a piece. Though you can buy the set of 3, and those are at $34.95. And then for the Nibs Burner, those tips are currently priced at $8. Again, they only have 5 in their set right now. This is the 5 most popular. Hopefully they will extend that in the future, but those tips are running at $8. And yes, the hand piece is running $18.95, and that's for the interchangeable. I don't know currently right now if they're going to be doing the fixed tip soon. I will have to find that out and get back to you on that. So for overall, for best value, because of what you get in the box with the Burnmaster, at $259, you are getting a really good deal on the setup for the amount of tips, so that you have as many options as you need. And RAZORTIP doesn't do only for burning, they also do for wax as well, and for wax writing on objects. And so they claim, like I said, that they have the 860 and the different configurations of both fixed tip and interchangeable. All 3 machines you can make your own custom tips for all 3 machines. And then for best performance, I'm going to have to give it to my Nibs Burner. I've had it for 8 years, and she's never given me a problem. I have never burned out a pen, never felt like I was going to burn out a pen. I have never broken or burned melted a tip, and I've never had an issue with the plastic. Now, the reason I did go to the fixed cord is when I originally got the machine, I did have it interchangeable and a cord that you plugged in and could switch out, and I didn't know that you were supposed to buff the end of the tip where it's going to connect into the handpiece to ensure that the connectivity continues to heat up evenly. So by that time I had already decided to switch to the fixed tip, and I love it. Hopefully they will be offering those again. I do know on their price they have them listed at, for the fixed tip fixed cord at $30, but again I don't know if they're available. I will be putting an iCart so for each one of the sites. Nibs Burner is currently updating, and hopefully if their website isn't finished, it will be done by this Monday, July 25th. So you can order directly from them. And with that, if you have any questions concerning burning or the machines, I would definitely say any one of the three machines I would suggest for even a new burner. I do have the Walnut Hollow Creative pen, but it's currently out in the garage. It needs a little cleanup after cutting and burning styrofoam. Again, that base handle for the Creative, for the Walnut Hollow, it still gets really hot and it's just uncomfortable. And it's the biggest for my hand, and with having arthritis, it's the hardest one for me to hold. So I really don't use that one at all. These pins are easiest for me. Like I said, the Burnmaster Eagle, the hand piece is larger than the other two, and that does cause me more hand fatigue. Even though the pen is doing most of the work, it still gets uncomfortable. But any one of these three machines would definitely get the job done for you, and I think you'd be happy with them. I have not tried the Coalwood, and I have not tried the Evergreen, and like I told you, all these are my personal opinions. Not everybody's going to agree. Everybody is going to like what's comfortable for them, but that's okay. So like I said, any comments, any questions, by all means, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button up there at the top. And I also wanted to tell you that I will start burning soon. I'm going to be getting a new camera set up so that I can really get in close and so that you can see the detail. And I'm not going to be doing the whole fast speed burning. There might be sections, but that's only after I've explained what we're doing in that part. So hopefully within the next week or two we'll get that started. And I'm going to look forward to, once we get our subscribers up and we really have a community going, I'm looking forward to picking a date and time that's convenient for as many people as possible and going live so that you can ask your live questions while we burn together. So that's in the near future. And please share, bring as many to our community as we can so that we can all burn together. So with that, happy burning. Thanks.